let's do our full soup shake wrap up. And it's at the point you coined that term. It's what I think of now. I don't think I have to catch myself writing the full superstar shakeup in the title for SEO reasons.
Yes.
Because people are like, what is a soup shake?
Yeah.
The following superstars made the jump to Raw in this year's shakeup. Now, this is official from WWE. AJ Styles, he's going to be a top of the line main event guy on that brand, obviously. Yep. The Miz, he won't be far off. Nope. I don't imagine. We had mentioned, why would they move him from Tuesdays to Mondays? Well, because there will be no Tuesdays in the fall. There will be no USA.
He'll be on the USA show, and he'll also have a USA show later as well. Yeah.
Ricochet, Aleister Black confirmed for Monday Night Raw. Good for Aleister Black. He gets to hang around with his wife. Ricochet and Aleister Black as a team. Don't know how I feel about that permanently, but I for now, I'm cool with it because it was just desolation in that Raw tag team division for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them teaming for a while. What I'm dreading is the inevitable heel turn of one of them. I'm like, I don't want to root against one of these two dudes. They're both awesome. Like the way that it's going to be is, now, it's because tag teams can't just dissolve. They have to be broken up by one bad guy of the two dudes.
Eric and Ivar, the Viking experience, which I do not expect that name to stick around.
It can't. It just can't. It's the worst thing. I mentioned this that I was going to talk about last. They should have called them Valhalla. Valhalla just sounds awesome. It's the Viking afterlife where you fight on a battlefield all day and all night you feast. And in the morning, you start it all over again for eternity. It's badass. There's all kinds of things you could have called them other than the Viking experience, which sounds like the Scandinavian section of Epcot. It's terrible.
I fully expect them to have some bangers with AOP. Lots of beef in that one.
Lots of beef. Lots of raw beef, according to Corey Graves, who says that they eat raw meat.
Andrade and Zelina Vega. For Andrade, great. For Zelina, I look at things and I'm like, you got an awful lot of people with similar skill sets on that women's roster. I don't know how much wrestling she's going to be doing.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, I'm like, you've got Lacey Evans, rough around the edges, Liv Morgan, who's never proved herself as a singles competitor.
But now she's on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, that's
Liv Morgan's on SmackDown.
Good point. Sorry, so that does ease my mind a little bit. Zelina being over there, we'll see how that goes. But I like Andrade being over there, and Zelina needs to be there with Andrade for sure.
Yeah.
We also have Rey Mysterio. He was one of those where I was like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? He is a name, but he's going to be a 50-50 guy.
Right. He should, and they started this thing. It had amazing promise. It's on Raw where they have all kinds of time to fill. You do not have an excuse to do something other than like a best of 5 Andrade versus Rey Mysterio, one a week for a month and a half of just letting these guys have awesome 14-minute matches where they like you can make Andrade a star off the back of Rey Mysterio. It can be this amazing thing that they could do. You don't have an excuse not to do it now.
The Usos, not on the same brand as Roman Reigns. That's a bummer. But on the same brand as the Revival, that's really nice.
That is nice as long as that's the thing. We have the skirmish interlopers, the former War Raiders who are there now. I'm assuming they're going to wind up with the belts soon. The Revival, I like the Revival. The Revival, their best iteration of them in NXT was when they were like middle of the road. We only care about ourselves. We have no heel or face alignment. So I love them being in the middle of Usos and War Raiders. There is a triple threat tag team match somewhere out on the horizon for the Raw tag team titles that's going to be awesome.
Naomi, along with, she's over there with her husband. She's fine. She's going to be a 50-50 person. She is hit or miss in the ring. She's either really good or really just not there.
Yeah, I mean, what you presented last night as the top 2 contenders for the Raw Women's title are Natalya and Lacey Evans. And I'd rather see Naomi versus Becky than either of those two. So, I mean, like, it's a weird thing. Like, the women's division on Raw is kind of suspect at this point. It's I'm not sure.
EC3. I don't know what they're doing.
All it takes is for him to come out and say, "I'm sick of this crap. I'm not losing ever again." And be like, "I'm in the top 1%. I'm going to prove it." Like, just have him do it. Like,
you know what's a lot easier than coming up with new talent because nobody's over? Getting people over. That's it.
If you said, "Hey, you can sink or swim. Get yourself over, kid." EC3 is the kind of guy who can do it.
Yeah. Lacey Evans, she's obviously going to be a top name on the Raw women's division. We know about that.
Sure.
Cedric Alexander, we'll see how that ends up. It could be Mustafa Ali, or he could end up being a guy who's barely on TV.
Yeah, he's better than that. He held the Cruiserweight Championship for a very long time. I know he can also work with bigger dudes from his time on Ring of Honor. He feels like the kind of guy whose ceiling is probably a U.S. title contendership. I don't know if he's ever going to win titles, but he can absolutely hang in that area. There's I don't know where they're going here in the early summer, but he's absolutely a guy who can hang with the best they've got in ring.
Somebody says EC3 needs to go back to Impact for what? For what reason? So he gets once every 2 months.
Yeah.
Eric Young, I get the feeling unless they have something big in mind for him, he's going to get
main
beat.
Event. Yeah, he's going to lose to No Way Jose a few times.
Unfortunately, he's a very entertaining guy.
Yeah.
Lots of his matches in our Jimmy Van match archive on FightfulSelect.com, our premium service. Jimmy Van was one of his earliest bookings, actually. Check it out. We have lots of podcasts over there. Let's move to the SmackDown side. Mickie James. Somebody's got to lose on that show.
Yep.
Apollo Crews. Somebody's got to lose on that show.
Yeah. Unless they're teaming him with Chad Gable, in which case somebody's going to lose on that show.
Liv Morgan. Somebody's got to lose on that show. Buddy Murphy. Yeah. Somebody's got it. No, I'm just kidding. He could be really entertaining on this show.
This is the thing. Where I absolutely wanted him to go, if he was going to get called up, is whatever brand Seth Rollins was on, because that's a dream match. Those two guys are made for each other. But again, here's the thing we got to be honest about. Buddy Murphy was never 205 pounds. So he's the kind of guy who absolutely can fit in with dudes who are bigger than him. He's ridiculously talented in the ring. He has his velocity on his tope con hilos is just off the charts. So he's an amazing guy. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with him.
Are you implying that the Athletic Commission did like the Daniel Cormier towel trick and he like held onto the towel to distribute his weight?
It's possible. Who knows?
What do you think will happen to him physically now that he's up there? Do you think he'll like add weight back, or do you think he'll stick with what really set his career off?
I mean, yeah, I don't think he's going to add weight back specifically. Like, I think he might. I mean, he wasn't really making weight. So I mean, like, so at least I don't believe he was.
But I mean, my God, he got a lot leaner.
Oh, he did. That's the whole thing. From the Buddy and from the Blake and Murphy days, he doesn't even look like the same person at all. So yeah, I'm anticipating he's going to stay where he is. Cedric, maybe not.
I think we figured out who the talent was on that team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did. Somebody said the Forgotten Sons might get called up today, and I said, well, if they do, they'll be called the Biker Experience.
My God. Lars Sullivan, set for SmackDown. Okay, well, we got to see how he pans out. We got to see how he ends up.
The best thing for him is that he is not on the same brand as Braun.
Yep.
Because you cannot have those two guys in the ring at the same time, because it'll be like, oh, Lars is really short. Like, he looked like an inch taller than
He's not really short. He's like 6 feet tall.
Right. But I mean, like, as opposed to the guys who were like the big guys, he looked like he's about an inch taller than R-Truth tonight.
Hey, R-Truth isn't a short guy.
No, but he's certainly not billed as a monster.
Kairi Sane, she'll be teaming with Asuka. I expect the singles thing in the future for her. She is the ultimate underdog. She is a great addition to SmackDown.
She's great. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch them.
Bayley in singles action, but what strikes me as interesting is she's on the same brand as noted her best friend, Carmella. They could easily play that up, and she could transition in and out. She's versatile in that manner. I don't put any stock in Canada booing her.
No, I don't either. I also I loved the interaction she had with Becky. It was very honest, and says, "It's been a while." Like there was because it really has. Like Bayley got brought up to Raw, and Becky's only ever been on SmackDown since the draft. So I love the idea that it's been a while means it's been since NXT. That's really interesting. That history that those two have going back that far could be played up again here if you ever got them into a feud. It's really cool ideas.
Elias going to SmackDown. Now that surprised me a little bit, considering that
they don't have as much time to work with there, and that's all he does is eat time on a 3-hour broadcast. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
But having him go out there and troll the home crowd for 4 minutes, I don't feel like they've got that kind of time to spare, particularly with this amazing new roster they've built.
Raw kind of got a lot of fresher new talent, and then Miz and Styles up top, and SmackDown got Bálor and Reigns near the top, and then Elias. So, which SmackDown needed it because, I mean, we were talking a few months ago where I was saying that New Day needed to feud with Daniel Bryan so they could have something going on at the top of the card.
Right now, there's another thing that we need to talk about, which is that there are people who are injured and off TV, at least for a while. And when they come back, they can wind up on either brand, and we're just supposed to accept it. I would not be surprised to see Nia Jax move. She belongs on Raw. They're thin there. They need her. But I would not be surprised if whenever she comes back from her knee surgeries, that she just shows up wherever. And also, they've been running those Vulture Muppet promos on both shows. So whenever Bray shows up, he could be on either brand. Here's the weird thing that I'm like, they're not going to do it, but I wouldn't put it past them. If they actually were to give Bray his actual sister Abigail, that might be how they utilize Nikki Cross. Because they have no other plans for her. They've broken up Sanity. She's not on either show now.
I would love that.
If they kept her off TV.
Well, we're not at her part yet. So okay, Roman Reigns, we know what Roman Reigns is going to be. He's going to be a top of the level babyface.
Yeah.
On SmackDown. If they ever go heel with him, that would be fantastic as well. Finn Bálor, I think they got to go heel with him and make some goddamn use out of Gallows and Anderson for the 4 months you have them. Yeah. For the love of God.
It'd be nice.
Just do it. And you know what? You know what you can do around then? Whenever Big E comes back, you got the club, the Bálor Club, New Day. Rock that as a top-level feud. But there were also a few names that weren't brought up. You mentioned Nikki Cross. Yeah. I could see her being with her husband, Killian Dane, or I liked your idea. Her as Sister Abigail makes a whole lot of sense.
You could easily repackage her. She's not that well known to the main roster. She didn't make a ton of on-screen appearances. Without Sanity, she doesn't have a context right now. She's just the crazy girl. So you could easily make her believable with a little makeover as Bray's Sister Abigail. Every time they do that promo where there's the doll sitting in the rocking chair, I'm like, yeah, I could see that being Nikki Cross. There's it remains to be seen exactly where we're going to go with some of these people that haven't been brought up over the last couple of nights.
Well, two of those are Heavy Machinery. I think they're shoo-in for 205 Live.
Yeah. I guess I assumed SmackDown when they didn't show up last night. But they didn't bring them up. They did a thing last night where like, hey, here's a bunch of people that we didn't mention. They're definitely on Raw. They didn't do that necessarily tonight. So I'm just assuming Heavy Machinery is going to be on SmackDown.
Ugh. Not looking forward to those two. We got a super chat from Ross Gould that says, is Daniel Bryan still on SmackDown? Yes, as far as we know. So let's look at the SmackDown roster, the top of it. Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan. Those are 4 real big names just right there. Finn Bálor, ready to emerge as a top name. You have Elias there too. You got Randy Orton just hanging around, by the way.
Yeah, he didn't show up tonight. He showed up last week and RKO'd a bunch of people, but this week nothing.
We're led to believe that Samoa Joe will be on Raw as probably. He was really sick. I believe that's what the EC3 segment was meant for. But you also have names who have competed at the main event level, like Jeff Hardy, Shinsuke Nakamura, people that they can kind of float in and out of there. Ali had a world title match. Don't know how many he's going to get now, but
again, he's your upper mid card hope spot babyface. You could float him back and forth and never give him a title reign, but always keep him near one of the belts.
Sure. Over on Raw, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman near the top. Who do you see emerging as a top main event guy? Because I think we're due one. The Miz probably is going to fit there.
I think as soon as they want to, they can split up Aleister Black and Ricochet, and both those guys belong at the top of a card.
Ricochet's going to have to learn how to talk. Aleister Black's going to have to learn how to talk.
Well, I mean, like, Aleister Black, you could absolutely see Vince being like, no, he doesn't talk. See, he's a minister of the dark, like, the ministry. Like, I mean, like, I could absolutely see him just running back some dark priest crap. If
only he had EC3's gimmick, he'd be fine. Where he just didn't talk for months at a time.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre seems kind of poised, or did until they 50-50'd him to death. Now he just seems like a guy who might challenge for the title on a pay-per-view in the future. I'm real interested, and I'm not sure if it's in a good way, to see how Raw ends up, because you know who didn't get split up? Corbin, Lashley, Drew.
Yep. No, that was one of the main reasons I wanted Drew on SmackDown, was to get him away from that muck. Because Baron Corbin needed to change the scenery too. He didn't change the scenery or repackaging something. You can't keep wasting a third or a sixth of every Raw is a half hour of just Baron Corbin mucking around backstage, doing a chin lock. Like it just feels like
it is a half Nelson cross face.
Sorry,
thank you. As to not hurt Darren Young's feelings.
I apologize.